Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Deborah, and here with me today is my sister Rebecca.
Hi!
Today we are going to be filming a makeup tutorial for you guys.
And we both do our makeup like a lot differently, so you're kind of going to get like two makeup tutorials in one. We'll both be doing our makeup at the same time, and we'll like be going through the like step 1, step 2, but they'll be different.
And then we'll show you guys the finished look at the end and kind of the differences of them. But this is just kind of our everyday makeup that we do for school or for work and things like that. So just simple and sweet. Alright, let's get started! So my sister and I just washed our face, so we both just have very clean faces, and then we use some Mary Kay Time Wise moisturizer afterwards, and then just let that dry. And then we're going to start off with our first steps. She does a few more things extra in the beginning, so I'm going to let her start.
For now, I'm just going to put my hair back because
mine's clipped back.
Get it out of the way. So the first thing I do is, this is almost gone, it's a little squished, but it's just foundation primer, and the main reason I use it is because like in this area of my face I have really large pores, and primer kind of just helps the foundation and the concealer not sink in there, and then it kind of just gives like your whole look more of a lasting finish. So I'm just squirting a little bit onto my
that's like clear.
my beauty blender.
I didn't know that. I don't use this.
Yeah, she doesn't use it, but maybe she will now.
Yeah.
And then that's actually kind of a lot, so I'm gonna like usually only put it right here, but I'm gonna put it on my whole face, and we kind of just like dab it in. You don't want to like smear it too much, or then it just hurts crazy.
For my beginning step, I just put on a very light layer of foundation. So I use two foundations. They're both Mary Kay. There's an Ivory 5 and a Beige 7. My skin is very oddly colored, so in order to get the right color, they have to be mixed. So I just squirt a little bit on both, on the back of my hand. Alright, so we have a little bit on my hand. I just have like a dot of that beige, just to make sure that we get a little bit dark added to it. And then I literally mix it in, and then I just take a dab of it on this brush, and then I just put it in basically like the T-zone of my face, I guess, and then I rub it in. So like, I'm not like dabbing it in, I'm like rubbing in just a really light layer of it. And basically I use this light foundation as like a concealer. I personally am not a fan of concealers on my face. One, because it's hard to make the concealer blend with the colors of foundation I use. They're either a little too yellow or a little too pale. And they also, I feel like they make my face look cakier, and it always like cakes up like under my eyes or like in the creases, and I just don't like it. So I just do a really, really thin layer of foundation that kind of replaces the concealer.
So, I put my primer on, and you want it to just be a really like thin layer. You don't want it to cakey or sticky or anything. And the next thing I do is put concealer on to brighten up the darker areas of my face, and then also like any like red spots. This really helps. So what I've been using is Wet n Wild makeup stick, and I just like the like consistency of it. So I'll just kind of put it under the eyes, kind of like in a little bit of like a triangle shape, and then I'll and then I'll go ahead and like sometimes I tap and sometimes I smear. It's really just how I'm feeling that day, and I'll just like kind of tap in all of the red spots just to even out the complexion. I'm also looking at mirrors, so you know.
We have a lot of mirrors lined up, so if our eyes are going funky, that's good.
No.
Wow, you look so good.
Now, when I put that first layer of this stuff on, I don't need it to dry too much, because I'm just going to take this beauty blender, and then I'm going to like blend it into my face. Once again, you don't want to wipe, because that kind of will wipe it off your skin. You want to dab it into your skin. So
while she's dabbing her concealer, I will then start my actual foundation. So after I let that dry, just let that thin layer of foundation dry, I'm then going to take the same thing that I had on my hand, and I'm going to get a little more on my brush, and then I'm going to start dabbing. So I normally start underneath my eyes. You don't want to wipe, because that just like, I feel like just smears the foundation into your skin. I don't know, I just don't think it covers it as well. So if you need more of a full coverage look, then definitely dab it. So just blend it. You don't want to just like keep dabbing in one spot because it will just make it cakier and cakier. So I normally start here and then blend it down into my cheek and then sometimes like into my chin. And then I normally brush a little bit right here on my jawline because you don't want any lines, and I got that in my eye. Oh,
yes, foundation in the eye is painful. It stings a lot. So once I just blend that all in, sometimes if I'm in a rush, which I usually am, I'll just go straight from that right into my foundation. But since I have a little bit of time while doing this video, I'm gonna let it like set a little bit and dry, because then just the overall finish will be smoother and less cakey if you give it that time to set. So after I let my concealer dry and set a little bit, I move on to this foundation, and depending on really just the season, it will depend on like the color and the mixture I use of foundation. We do have a lot of Mary Kay, so I'm using 2 different shades of Mary Kay right now. The 2 that I'm using are Ivory 4 and Beige 6. Beige 6, actually, yes, it says 6. I might have said 5. So I'm just going to take it, this is very similar to what Deborah did. I'm going to put some Ivory 4 on the back of my hand, and then just a dot of the Beige 6 to tie in that bronzy color. And then I usually just mix it together with like the end of a brush, or really sometimes I do it with a bobby pin, just anything that's going to.
I do it with the end of my brush, as you can see. It's kind of gross. But as she is mixing that, I went ahead and just dabbed the rest of my foundation all over my face. So I went up to my forehead and kind of just like dabbed out, and then just dabbed it as I like distributed it evenly along my face. Made sure I got the top of my nose, my chin, under my nose, right here. And then always make sure that you don't have any lines, and that you don't have any lines by your ears either, because that is super important, something that people won't forget.
So I hate wasting product, so whatever I stir with, I always just kind of like on my face so I can use it.
I normally just wipe it on the back of my hand. See, like I mix and then I wipe the rest. But you do you, sister.
Okay, anyways, so I now have this mixed on the back of my hand, a little bit on my face. I just take the Beauty Blender. I did more than this. I didn't put that much on. And then you're just gonna evenly distribute it, patting it all over your face until you feel your whole face is one even complexion. Alright, so after I've used all the product on the back of my hand, I'm just blending it all in. Now, if I was doing a pageant or something, I would have used more, or if I was like just, getting glammed up for something, just because like if you can tell, like there's still imperfections, because nobody's perfect, that show through.
Nobody's perfect. I gotta work it again and again until I get it right.
Anyways, so I just kind of like blend it in until I feel like it's even, and like even if there are a couple like little bumps or red spots, that they look smooth and good. Then I'm gonna let that dry and go on to my next step.
Okay, and while she is letting that dry, I'm going to go ahead and explain the next step, and we are actually going to be on the same step now, which is powder! So this is mineral powder foundation, so it's colored mineral powder, and I just put this on right after my foundation. I let it dry. You don't want to do it while it's wet, because that will make it look really cakey on your face. But then you don't want to do it when it's fully dry, because then it's not going to set in like it needs to. So basically, I'm almost out of powder, but I don't know where the lid is. It just has colored powder in it at the bottom.
So mine is also powder, but I'm doing a translucent powder, which is white, and it really helps to set your foundation and your concealer and everything, but it also brightens up everything, and mine's actually brand new, so it's a little everywhere.
Okay, so I use this big fluffy brush for my powder, and then I normally dab it in there. Oh my gosh! It's like it snowed 10 feet in the lid. Anyway, so I have about that much on my brush, and then I take the lid, and then I put it in the lid and dab it in, kind of mix it into the brush, and then I tap the brush out on the side of the lid to save any of the extras, because you don't want to just like put that huge amount on your face because it's just going to cake up in one spot, so you just want to lightly distribute it. So she's kind of doing the same thing.
I was about to say, I'm doing about the same thing, and sorry if it's snowing in here because
I don't think they can see it, but it does.
anyways, and then I don't know what she's gonna do, but I just take the powder that's on the brush and like pat it in, and I focus most, like I do it on my whole face, but I focus mostly in the under eyes and the T-zone.
So I start, that's where she is. Kind of like I did with my foundation, I'm just starting under my eye and blending out into my cheek, and of course don't want any lines.
Now, once again, I keep using the reference of a pageant because that's really what I put makeup on for the most. I don't care what it looks like. But if I was doing that, I would do what I call baking. And before I put on this powder, I would have put a little more concealer on and then blended that and then put a lot more powder on and just literally let the powder sit on my face and bake, and then it just like really brightens up the face. But for a natural
comes out like a
everyday
biscuit.
look, just a light tapping of powder across the face will really do the trick, especially if you're just like going to class or going to work or something like that.
Always want to make sure and get the top of your nose and in your creases, down your neck, don't want any lines. And then once I'm done using that big brush all over my face, I take a little brush. I'm not sure if Rebecca knows this or not. I take a little brush, just like this, and I just dip it in the powder, and then I use the lid to kind of help that. Just kind of dab it on there just so it's not so much, and then I just go right under my eyes.
So you don't want to ever forget your ears or your jawline. Reminder, just so okay, so once I pat it in, I'll kind of like do really light circles just to make sure there's no like clumps anywhere or anything like that. It gives it a nice smooth finish. And then for me at least, this is my base. Like this is my new skin. And then now I'm going to start putting color and like definition in.
So as you guys just saw, I put that under my eyes, and then I put it right here where my nose is, and then I just added a little bit on top of my nose, and a little bit on my chin, and then a little bit right here, just because I personally have a little bit of oilier skin, so adding a little bit of extra powder in those spots. So like sometimes my mascara will like kind of run a little bit when my had on for all day long, but if I add a little bit extra powder, it doesn't normally smear onto my skin down here. So I just add a little extra powder in the places that need it the most, but I just do it with a small brush so it doesn't look too cute.
So my next step personally is blush. Well, it depends like how much I'm doing. I'm gonna do a little bit of contour right now, so I do contour and then blush, but sometimes I go really simple and natural and I just don't do any contour and I'll go straight to blush.
So while she's getting her contour out, I do blush next. I don't normally do contour with an actual contour stuff. I normally do it with a darker blush. So I add a little bit of a hint of contour to give me a little bit more of like a defined like face and like the nose, and then right here where the dimples are. So I use a darker blush for that. And then for like up top a little bit to add just a little extra more of that pink like blush color is I use pink blush on top.
So ignore how messy this is, but this one that's like used a lot, it's like a medium brown. That's what I'm gonna use for like my bronzing. So I'm just gonna take this brush that came with the contour kit. I just like dab it in, and you don't want it to be too heavy or then it looks like your face is dirty and not shadowed. And I kind of go from like this hairline right here that comes down right between your ears and I bring it like right mid cheek. It should be like right under your cheekbone. So
Fishy lips. If you do the little fishy lips, it helps kind of guide where you want to go. So just follow those right there, and it will kind of give you your natural, where your natural cheekbones are.
And always start light and then keep going darker, because if you just put a bunch on, it's not gonna help. Now with the nose, you want to be really careful, because depending on how much you put on your nose and where you put it, it could actually make your nose look fatter, and like is what you're really going for is like a cute little slender nose. So you want to put it like right on the edges of the bridge of your nose, and you can go a lot more dramatic, but this is kind of more of a natural look, so I'm sticking with that. Then just real quick, real lightly, which this is not like probably advised by a makeup artist, but with the same brush, after I blow it off, I dip it in just one of the lighter colors, and I go a little on right under the eye, just the highlight.
I think you're supposed to use this brush for that. Some people use this brush.
And then I'll just tap it on the forehead and brush down the nose. Once again, that's like for a supernatural look. If you're going for like the glam look, you're going to be a lot more specific.
So then for my contour, like I said, I just used a different color brush. So mine's basically going to be what she did with her contour. I just don't like the deepness of contour. I like more of like a natural look. Even though you can make that look natural, this one looks even more like you didn't even contour in it. You know what I mean? So I just take this brush. It's just flat like that. And then I just put that on here. And then I do right there. We're like right under your natural cheekbone. Up to like right here where your hairline is, and it follows down to like your upper lip. And then I do the other side. And then I do forehead, just on the sides here, and then right up above, because this is what should be highlighted. And then I do your nose, which with hers it was much more exact of like where to put it, because it was a lot more like, I guess, deeper.
Dramatic color.
Yeah, dramatic, deeper color. With mine, it's literally just adding a hint of tintness to right there, just to give definition. And then I normally just kind of blend it in a little bit. And then I go on to the pink blush. I do the same thing, use the same brush. But then I put it over top. And this one I more dab on. The other one I more like rubbed. This one I dab a little bit more. It's like a dab rub. It's not like this, but it's not this. It's like a, I don't know, an in-between. But this just makes it a little pinkier and gives it that cute little blushy look. And then, of course, I add a little bit of pink there, a little bit of pink there under my eyes so they don't look white. And, of course, blend it on the jawline because we don't want lines.
So for my blush, I just go in with like kind of like a round fluffy but compacted brush, so there's a lot of bristles. I like go into my blush, blow it off so it's not like too deep of a color.
It looks like raspberry.
And so I'll go like right above the contour.
Cannot get over your face. Do you see it?
I don't know.
You suck in your cheeks so much.
Anyways, and so I'll get it right here. You want to start high and go low because you want more color up here, and you don't want it so concentrated right on the apples of the cheek. Now I can see it. And then just, of course, do the same on the same side, because while no one that I know of in the world is perfectly symmetrical, that is the look of one. Okay, and then I do also do a little on the forehead, a brush on the nose, and a brush on the neck, just to give the whole face a little bit of color.
Okay, Okay, so the next thing I do is I take a Q-tip and I do my eyebrows with it. So I normally rinse it in some water, which this one's already wet. And then I just take it on my eyebrows and just get the foundation out of them, because I don't like coloring in my eyebrows personally, because I think it looks more natural this way. So I just like to get the foundation out of to bring them out a little bit, and then I take the dry side and then just dry my eyebrows a little bit. And then I take, this is a, believe it or not, really old mascara thing, and y'all are gonna kill me for this because I've heard that you're supposed to like throw away your mascara containers after like 3 months or something.
I've been like 3 years.
There's no way. But
At
it's
least
been
1 year.
it's been at least a year, so that's kind of gross. But it doesn't matter because I don't care. But I take this, it literally has like no color on it, and I take hairspray and I give it a little spray, and then I just put it on my eyebrows. So this makes them kind of stay in place, and it also gives them almost like a little bit of like a wet color. I don't know, wet. Like it's just like a darker color.
Wet, it's darker. It just kind of darkens up your eyebrows.
Without like coloring them, because I don't like coloring my eyebrows. But you just kind of shapen them. And then voila.
So for my next up, I go in with some eyeshadow. I'm using a mini Naked palette from Urban Decay. I go in with like a lighter white, not white, but you want like a really light beigey skin tone color. And I just like kind of go in right on the top of the eyelid and then right under the brow bone, or like under the eyebrow, so on the brow bone, with the really light color. And my brush is broken, so I'm holding it weird. So just do that just to brighten up the eyes.
This is like ghetto makeup tutorial.
Hey, it's called This Is Real Makeup. Any girl could probably follow this with the products she has.
That's very true.
Hashtag relatable.
Hashtag.
I was gonna do like, but my hands are full.
Hashtag.
Okay, so then I'm gonna take that. I used that color first. Now I'm gonna take this color. So it's like a lighter brown. And for my more natural days, natural look, I take it right under the bottom eyelash. What?
Oh, you're doing great.
Oops. Nobody's perfect. Okay, so I take it right under the eyelashes, and this kind of gives like a bottom liner look. I think bottom eyeliner is good for like stage, or for me, it's good for like stage and stuff, but I don't want bottom eyeliner like on a regular basis. It's kind of irritating to me, and I think this is a more natural look, but it still like defines the eye.
I'm sorry.
For the makeup faces, okay.
Her makeup is obviously a little. Okay, I don't want to say this right now, so we're gonna speak this up.
So then with the same color, I'm just gonna lightly take a little tap of it and just kind of windshield wiper it into the crease of my eye to define that. Oh, that was a little more than I thought it was. I guess
You know what she says to me all the time? We'll be getting ready to do something. We're like, oh, like maybe we'll just put on a little makeup, like, you know, to make us look like we have clearer skin, but not a lot. And then she's over there, like, darkening her, like, doing eyeshadow and fake eyelashes. I'm like, Rebecca, why are you doing so much makeup? And she's like, well, I got a little carried away. I got too much of something, so I figured I had to have a lot of everything.
So, okay, so I was going for a more natural look, but because I got a little more color, I just went with it. And I just put it on like this. I really hope this is comical to you guys. But like if I was going for the more glamorous look, I would have done it a little more shapely and not just windshield wipered it. But
Keep going.
usually I would have put less color on, but the same shape. And I like to keep the actual eyelid white or like the skin tone color, keep the crease dark, and then above the crease and then below the brow, that bright and lighter, so that your eyes are still popping, but they have that definition in there.
So typically I do not use eyeshadow on a daily basis. It is very, very rare that I wear eyeshadow. But if I do wear eyeshadow, I use this palette. It has tons of like just natural eyeshadow colors in it. I'm normally not a fan of any like colors or purples or pinks or blues or whatever. I like browns and tans. So I use this brush. It's kind of fluffy but really thin, if that two words go together. But I just use this brown color right here. It has a little bit of sparkle, so I just get a little bit of that, and then this one right here, which is a little bit deeper, and I just kind of mix those two, and then I dab it on my hand a little bit, just because I don't want it to end up really dark like hers. So I just dab it on there with any extras, and then I go in, and I just dab it on the crease of my eye. Now she does hers a little bit differently, but I will admit, this is like the amount of pigment I was going for, but honestly, I usually go and blow off my brush, and I just didn't do that, and I should have. And then for mine, when I'm putting it on my eye, I like it to be a little bit thicker here, and then as I'm dabbing it, go lower and lower and lower, so it's like thinner, and then gets a little bit thicker too, without it looking too like round, because then that looks kind of weird. You just want to go with the shape of your eye. Like my bone right here, like I do not want to go above that. I'm like following that crease is where this brush is going. And then just like her, I always leave this part white and this part white. So it literally just adds
just a shadow definition of the crease. Yeah. So another thing I do with eyeshadow, is on my eyebrows. This is the same palette. I use the black, and then I use this little tiny brush, and I just dab it in the black, and then I literally just fill in my eyebrows to define them.
And then one other step that I do with mine is that I take this nice fluffy brush that I used when I was doing the under my eyes with the foundation powder. I take this really light color up here, and I just rub that brush in it, and then I do right here the corner of my eyes, and it makes it a little bit lighter. Now I only do this if I do eyeshadow, otherwise I don't do this step. But I do right there, and then I do right here, just kind of following the line of where I put the eyeshadow. It just makes it more of like a clean cut, almost like you would if you like did wing eyeliner, but I don't do eyeliner, so yeah.
So my next step is mascara. Yes, prepare for great makeup faces. So I use CoverGirl's Katy Cat Eye. I just think it's a really good mascara. Always make sure that when you are doing mascara, you scrape the brush, or else it will be everywhere but your eyelashes.
Well, and that's if you have a really thick one. So my next step is also mascara. I use Mary Kay, and then I just kind of just make sure it's good. And then if there are clumps, I would for sure do that, because you do not want that on your eyes. This one doesn't clump up like that one does as much.
Yeah, that's the one complaint I have about this, is it does get like super clumpy on the brush, but the brush is also really big. So like the hole to insert the brush in there is bigger. So just more product can go out. So something that I learned, which maybe everyone knows this, but I didn't, is that you should always start with your bottom eyelashes, because when you do your bottom eyelashes, everyone makes this face, and your top eyelashes are touching.
That's so smart. I did not know that.
Are touching the top of your eyelids, especially if you have like projective brow bones. So you want to do the bottom ones first while your eyes are like, and then you can relax and do the top ones. So you want to do it together?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so as you can see, it's not like super dramatic lashes, but just darkened them and lengthened them. Made your eyes look like they're there.
And the very last step that I do is I get another Q-tip, and I lick my lips, and then I go around and I get foundation off of them.
So my last step is similar, except usually I just do this. And then instead of not putting anything on my lips, I'll take like either a really light pink or like a nude lipstick, and it's like usually like a cream based lipstick, so it's gonna be like glossy, not like matte. And I'll just,
and then mine, I do put on a little finishing. It's just literally lip balm.
And then especially if I'm going to be having makeup on for a long day, I'll have like setting spray, and I'll just spritz that on a little bit just so that the makeup doesn't like get all smeary and stuff throughout the day. But other than that, girl, you're gonna look good.
That's it. So obviously our daily makeup routines are very different.
Yes.
Hers is a little bit heavier. Mine's a little bit just really easy, natural, quick. Obviously, it didn't seem like it was quick because we were both kind of doing different steps together. But it typically takes me probably about like 10 minutes to do my makeup every day, which is super nice, super easy, super quick, super natural.
Yeah, mine usually takes 10 minutes. I think it needs to take 10 minutes, but you know, between 10 and 15 or 10 and 20 minutes, around 15. But it doesn't take that long. We didn't like take the time to do winged eyeliner or fake lashes or anything like that, but we still have like a nice natural glamour.
And then also keep in mind, a lot of our makeup did come from Mary Kay because our mom sells it, so it's nice and easy that we can have easy access to it.
And stuff that I have that's not Mary Kay, a lot of it is actually CoverGirl or Wet n Wild, and it just comes from Walmart.
So it's with a bunch of different makeup things, so you guys can easily do this makeup tutorial with any of your makeup and make it natural just the way you like it. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you find yourself with a good makeup guide. Make sure you subscribe
And a like.
Yes.
Look, like it because our dog is in it.
Twix. He's gone.
He didn't want to be in it.
Twix has left the building. Alright, anyway, thank you guys so much. Please stay tuned for our next videos. If you guys have any suggestions on what you would love me and my sister to do, please comment below, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.
I can't wait to make the bloopers for this. Alright. And welcome back to I almost said the channel. That would be page 5. And then this is oh, darn it, that's not what I want. I have 2 beiges. I was about to be like an Oompa Loompa. Hang on, I need to get an ivory. It's okay, that's good. We're gonna just use, I honestly, should I put this on? See on the cover of a magazine. Remember, things are always different than the way that seems. Yes.
Okay, well, we should turn it
off. The lighting difference on this is insane. Literally, wait, look at my face right now. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Then sit down. And then stand up.
Our own makeup tutorial and the same.
No, hang on, it's gonna be better. Just the first part is very scripted, so it's weird. Colored powder that I use on my face, and this one was the wrong one. So,
I'm actually, wait, are we folding right here?
yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. We're good. Okay.
Wait, I have to sneeze.
Okay, we'll keep dabbing your face anyway, so that while I'm explaining, this isn't like a weird cut in the video.
Because I'm going to stop dabbing until you're ready. Because I'm not dabbing. You're ready for me to dab.
Well, when I start talking, so like right now. Okay, if I look right there, am I looking in here? Does this look normal? Because I was totally looking in here before. Wait, look at my face. Does this look like the next step?
Wait, should we start a new
Dang it.
video?
Yeah, we are now. Hello. Ooh! makeup. Okay, hang on.
Wait, I have more steps, or should I go first? One, and it's still pretty natural. I leave the eyelid.
That's not natural at all. Can you just stop? Restart. I'm not kidding. That was like the worst thing you've ever. Like you were like, now to do this in your eyes. You were just like, this is more natural. That's so dark. Do you see how dark that is?
Yeah.
I almost wish it was like, okay.
Vogue.
See, this is a much prettier background.
Okay.
And my face is back. Sister and I both. Okay, I'm looking at my face and it looks awkward.
No, it doesn't.
It does. Okay, hang on. So this Time Wise moisturizer.
Oh, why are you laughing?
It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, no, because now it's in focus. We should just start it. Okay, ready? Or maybe we'll just start again. Okay, bye.